Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the Stepping Up, a school-themed hop, and Scraptember, and 30 Days of Sketches. And if you noticed on that first slide, it said or not. It doesn't have to be school-themed, but that was the intent to begin with. And this is our sketch for today, Hip Kit Club. And it's kind of a fun sketch. I had really thought about doing some mixed media there, but then I thought that was the obvious choice, and so I decided not to do some mixed media, but to tear some paper. The prompt for Scraptember for this one is a selfie, and so I did a selfie of my feet, and it worked perfectly for the stepping up hop as well, because that one is stepping up, and you step up with your feet. So, um, anyway, I decided to go ahead and do a selfie of my feet because I am actually documenting basically my shoe journey, which I was always the cute shoe girl when I was younger, but because I have so many foot problems, I'm not really the cute shoe girl anymore, and it's really annoying. But so that's what I'm documenting. So I decided to start out with some this paper from One Canoe 2. It's kind of an older paper. They're not making paper right now, so it's been in my stash for quite some time. Then I pulled out some Shimmers paints, and I am using the one that's called Grapefruit, and I like it a lot. I have several in this color family. I didn't realize they were going to be so close to each other before I swatched them, and then when I swatched them, they were really close to being very similar to each other. But I really like these colors, so it didn't really matter. And then I wasn't really crazy about the way that wood grain from the floor looked with the paper. I don't even know what to call that design on the paper. Maybe like a inside of a geode or something. But anyway, I decided to fussy cut my feet out and mat it on white. And so that's what I'm doing. And I thought that paper was perfect because it is pretty much the closest thing I could find, and it's very close to the color of the shoes. And it's got that kind of weird periwinkle color. And then the shoes have that peach trim, so I thought it would work really well. And so that's where I'm going with it. So if you're not crazy about the background in your photo, cut it out. So there really wasn't anything in the background that needed to be seen anyway. It was just, I don't have anything white that I can stand on to take a photo. And so this worked. And I actually didn't realize I would want a white background to begin with anyway, because I didn't know what papers or anything I was going to use. So I am matting it on white and then, or mounting them onto white and then matting the whole thing with black. And I will matte the entire layout with black as well. And so I'm super happy with the way that turned out. And I really like that the way that the mixed media just kind of adds to the effect of the paper that's ripped. And then I decided to rip, pardon me, some black paper and tuck it under, and I really like how that looks too, because I think that black really grounds everything. It needed some weight on this, and it provides that the idea of weight on the paper, even though it's, black paper doesn't weigh any more than any other paper, but the color is so dark, it provides the weight. So just using a piece of scrap black out of my bin, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turns out. Some of these papers, when you rip them, they tear really straight, and then some of them, like this piece, oh my gosh, it was just so jagged. But luckily you're not going to see one entire edge of it. You're just going to see the piece that's poking out, and so it doesn't really look quite as jagged as it did when it was just in my hand. And I apologize that I'm off screen here a little bit. I'm just trying to work on those upper layers, and without getting my head in the camera, I have to pull it down on the table. So maybe it's better to put my head in the camera. I have no idea, but I will move it back up on screen in just a moment here. So while I'm working on that, I will tell you that there are a lot of people playing along with both series actually, and I will link all of their links down below in the description box for you so that you can go and check them out. And there will be a lot of inspiration from all three of these series. So I took that same Shimmers paint, and I'm just brushing an edge around the outside of my paper just to kind of give it a little bit of a framing. And since I have that color on the peeking out from under the layers and the black is peeking out from under the layers, I thought it would be a nice way to complement the black around the outside. And so I like how that looks, but I didn't get my paper down quite right. Normally I do not add my adhesive in the same manner that you just saw. I do not know what I was thinking, but normally I just put it on the back of the white one and put the whole thing down. I don't just like put one edge and then put and then kind of like lift it up and add adhesive. So I don't know what was going on there. So I had these dies from Altenew that are on the left-hand side of my page, and I got those off of scrapbook.com, and I decided to go ahead and just do black cardstock on black foam. I really like adding the cardstock because it keeps the foam from stretching, and so that really kind of helps it. You could just use the foam, but then with these really narrow letters, it's really easy to get them so that they don't stay straight. They kind of go wonky and wobbly on you, and so the cardstock layer on top really helps it to keep its shape nice and straight for those T's and I's. And since there are a lot of really tall up and down lines like on the U and such, it's really just helpful. So, and I like the way that the font is really unique. It has the E that has the centerpiece that's really high. The N is the same way, where the diagonal line is just a really short one, but it's like way up high. And so my title is Stepping Out in Ugly Shoes. And I mean, they're not the ugliest shoes, but they're not cute shoes either. And so I have struggled with feet issues for quite some time. I've actually torn my plantar fascia and was in a walking boot for 6 months several years ago. And I've had other plantar fasciitis on the opposite foot. I have like a neuroma on one foot, which is like a nerve bundle inside. I'm sure it all stems from the 13 years of dance I did as a kid, but you know, I'm paying the price now, and maybe it didn't help wearing cute shoes when I was younger because they weren't super supportive or something like that. But you know, so I am just documenting this journey of ugly shoes. So I do have custom orthotics now, and this is probably way too much information than you really need, but they definitely do help when you're on your feet all day and you know, you've got injuries. So I am layering up my photo onto this peach paper, and I'm leaving the top bit open, and that is because I think at the time that I'm going to slide that journaling spot down below, and I didn't want it to get caught up on the torn papers that are layered below. But I don't end up using that journaling spot, so that piece is going to come out eventually. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and keep playing with this ephemera. Some of this ephemera is from Amy Tangerine, and some of it, and that would be her Picnic in the Park collection. Some of it is from Buenos Dias, which is Obed Marshall's line, and I think that's pretty much where I got these two. Those are the only two that I think I used for these embellishments, but I really like the way that I was able to pair them up. The pieces from the Amy Tangerine were a little bit more leaning toward the peach, and the Obed Marshall ones were a little bit leaning more towards the orange, but when you put them all together, they look great, and they match that background paper because it has several shades in it, and I'm really happy with the way that turned out. So while I go ahead and put those down, that little peach piece that underneath ugly, it says my style. I just put that in there a little tongue in cheek that these ugly shoes are my style, because they're not really, but they have become, because for many years now I've had to just, you know, go with what works well for my feet, not what looks cute with my clothes. So so yeah, New Balance is what I'm sporting these days. So people now who didn't know me when I was young would probably think it was my style, but yeah, not really. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and work on that. I'm popping some things up onto some foam tape there. And I just wanted to remind you, as I did before, that there are lots of people playing along. And the list for Scraptember and 30 Days of Sketches will be all one list. And then there'll be a separate list for the Stepping Up series. And they are not using the sketch or the prompt for Stepping Up. We do have people playing along with the Scraptember and 30 Days, but they may not be using one or the other of the two things, that whether it be the sketch or the prompt. And so go and check out their channels, bottom line, because there's tons of inspiration and all kinds of things going on all of these channels today. So I've been really enjoying doing 30 days, and I have done the it's not always called Stepping Up, but the back to school type hop that Sarah Scraps runs. And I've done that a couple years already, and I really enjoy it. So shout out to Sarah and the lovely ladies that have joined up teams to create Scraptember in 30 days. So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you being here watching my channel. Thank you so much. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have questions or comments, you can leave them down below, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye-bye.